I think you can say about Steve Rogers' character, he's a hero before he takes the super soldier serum. He's got courage, he's got values, he's got all the things that you want in a superhero. He just doesn't have the size and the strength. And once given that, it makes for an awesome, awesome superhero.
We knew that the movie wouldn't work if you didn't buy Skinny Steve at the top. We're going to spend the whole first act with a scrawny version of Steve Rogers before he gets chosen for the program and undergoes the procedure that turns him into Captain America. And if that looked fake, if that didn't feel right, you would lose it entirely.
It's not about the transformation, and we thought very long and hard about how do you do the transformation in a way that hasn't been seen before. And you think about needles and pads and steam and smoke and water and liquids and all this kind of like, how do you do it? And every time you'd think about all the movies that have done it before. And so rather than it being about the transformation, what we decided it was going to be more about establishing the character beforehand. Get back! And then the transformation isn't the big deal. It's a pretty big scene, but it's sort of behind closed doors. It's really about the man that goes into the pod and then the man that comes out of the pod, and that's what the beat is in the movie, as opposed to it being, and now we see his muscles bulge and, expand and everything else.
Knowing what we wanted Chris to look like when he came out of the pod, fully transformed, we knew that he had to start working out right away. And he spent probably 3 months getting into that shape. We also knew that for the entire first act of the film, he had to look like he weighed 100 pounds and was 5'7". Obviously, once he started working out, there's no going back.
Steve Rogers is supposed to be 98 pounds. He's very tiny. And then when he turns into Captain America, Chris Evans looks pretty remarkable with how he worked out and where he took his body to. So that's a tough one that we've had to do a lot of reference shooting. There's always a balance of trying to see, okay, what will work and what won't.
We sat down at the very beginning and we said, well, it's not really a visual effects movie, is it? Nah, it's just a movie. It's a movie. It's a buddy pick, and it's a superhero, but he doesn't really have that many superpowers. He jumps a bit and he's stronger, but it's not really many visual effects. And then you turn around and we're probably going to be, I don't know, 12, 13, 1,400 shots, taking the original photography of Chris Evans, thinning him down, and just by frame, painstakingly reshaping his entire body for the first third of the movie.
We discussed all sorts of things. Are they different actors? No. Well, do you do a Tom Hanks Castaway thing? Well, our schedule wouldn't allow time for Chris to get that skinny and bulk back up again. So we started looking at a number of effects processes to get it done. All CG came up. We just didn't feel it was there. It wasn't right, and there was enough of that creepy factor that you would never be able to fall in love with it. And the goal was to make the audience fall in love with the character before he gets any muscles, before he puts on the costume, before he holds the shield. And in early meetings we had with Chris Evans, it was very important to him and it was important to us that it be him, that it be his performance, that entire section of the film.
I think if you get to know who Steve Rogers is before he becomes Captain America, that's what will make for a good character, that's what will make a good movie.
We wanted Chris Evans and Stanley Tucci together. We wanted Chris and Hayley together. We needed Chris and Tommy Lee Jones together, and that's why the performance works.
So we're taking Chris's performance and we're actually shrinking him down and scaling him down and thinning him up. And we're doing it using a variety of techniques, but that's one of our sort of more challenging aspects of what we're doing, and something that really hasn't been done to this level before. He's a big guy, he's broad, and he's got a classic V shape, and what we're trying to turn him into is the 98-pound weakling and make him shorter and thin out his face and remove the muscles from his neck and his shoulders.
We did a few proof of concept tests, and I remember showing a section of the film, early rough cut footage of the rebirth scene, where there were a few shots of Chris skinny, gets onto a table, goes into the pod opens up, reveals the muscles, and the people I was showing to, how did you add those muscles? That was amazing. What's that effect? How'd you add those muscles? And I went, that's not the effect. The effect is the skinny version. They go, really? That is kind of when we all looked at each other and went, it's gonna work.
It changes the performance. When we're first looking at dailies and we're first looking at our rough cut, there's very few completed shots. And you see Chris, muscular Chris, doing these scenes with people and everyone's referring to him, you don't give up, you're skinny. And then when you start seeing the effect shots finally in the film, wow, does it change everything.
As much as possible is Chris basically shrunk. When that didn't work, for technical reasons, we photographed a body double, what we call a Skinny Steve, an English guy named Leander Deeney.
Chris is of a kind of heroic build, and he needs to be a scrawny loser. That's where I come in. He'll decide how he wants to do the scene, and I'll watch him do it 4 or 5 times, and then I do that and try and get an exact copy.
Okay.